Take two. So, I already went through the whole intro that I just played, probably differently. Um, Talked about some stuff for a few minutes, stuff that I'm probably going to talk about again. And then my phone went dark, and I was confused. And then I realized that I never hit record. So that happens. All right. Attempt number two. The lighting looks a little weird in here to me. It's maybe a little orange or an amber glow. I have two lights in here. I have a lamp on top of a couple speakers in the corner here, and I have another like pedestal light that points light up to the ceiling, and they're both pretty light bulbs, weak light bulbs, low wattage light bulbs, whatever. They don't produce a lot of light because I don't like a lot of light in here because I work in here during the day, and then play guitar at night, and I don't want it super bright. I already blacked out that window because it would annoy me. And there is another light up here, but it's way too bright. It's like a department store in here when that thing's on. So I only turn it on when I really need to see. And I have this other light back here that sometimes I plug in, but when I do, it seems so bright that it like I can't get it low enough. Everything gets like super, like my hat like blends in with the back and everything. It's like it's too white. So reading, I need some setting, some setup, I guess, with like three lights, with like that light, and then another light to offset the shadows, and then one behind me or something. That's a lot of work. If this looks okay, I'm just gonna roll with it, because really, I don't care. I just want to play guitar and talk about guitar. Um, and if this looks okay, then this is fine. This is what I look like anyway. If you see me outside in the summertime and this, I wouldn't have a hoodie on, but I might. The sun coming down on my hat, and I'd have a shadow on my face because I wear a Miami Dolphins hat 90% of the time. This is what I would look like. So, and I might even have an orange shoe. I don't know. Maybe it's the red in my beard that radiates the rest of my. I don't know. Any rate, so I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but I have bad tone days. And yesterday I had a bad tone day. I just couldn't get a good sound. And I have a particular sound in my head that I like. And it's really warm. It's got quite a bit of mids in it. Some might even call it kind of bassy. It's kind of clean. It's got a decent amount of reverb on it. But if I dig in, that was probably too loud. But if I dig in, it breaks up a bit, and that's what I like. And I tried multiple guitars, and everything I dialed in yesterday just sounded like garbage to me. And I could not get it until last night. It's not like I played all night, but towards the end of the day of me playing guitar, I finally got something I liked. But then this morning, I didn't like it again. So I don't know what it was about yesterday. I just could not get something I was super happy with. I was okay with it. Like I could roll with it. But it wasn't my favorite thing. And I just have days like that where nothing sounds right. And then the next day it does. I don't know if that happens to anyone else. I assume it does. I don't think I'm the only person that just has days where I just don't like the sounds that I'm producing. But yesterday was one of those days. And today is one of the days where my amp wants to make noise. I don't know if you probably can't hear it. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the weather outside, or how cold it is in the room, whatever. Well, I gotta sneeze. No, I don't. But the amp will make noise. Maybe it's the tubes. I don't know. Nope. All right, I'm good. And I saw, on my FRFR quest, I saw the Andersons channel had a video with Captain on there. I don't know what his real name is, but anyway, he had an FRFR speaker, not a cab, but a speaker that he was using in his like office setup, like where he jammed, he'd create loops. He had like a looper, modeler, a multi effects board into this FRFR powered speaker. It had like an 8-inch, maybe 10-inch speaker, and then I think it had like a little tweeter for mids, and it sounded pretty good. Um, I mean, good enough, better than I think what you get through studio monitors, unless you have gigantic studio monitors. Those speakers just don't produce what I expect them to when I run a modeler through there. Um, but this one looked pretty good, and it would seem pretty cheap. I did the conversion in my head, and I think it was about $230. It might be worth trying. So I might go to Sweetwater and maybe hook a UA pedal into one of those types of. It looks like a stage wedge. You know, it's not like a cab like this. It looks more like a stage wedge. I'll see if I like it. Maybe I'll pick one of those up this summer. It might be cool to have some sort of hybrid digital analog thing going on. That'd be cool. All right. So I mentioned this Facebook group, which is essentially a forum, where a guy asked a question that was phrased something like, what are the intervals of the pentatonic scale? And he got a bunch of crappy responses. And then I answered the question as best I could. Basically told him to take the major scale, take the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of that, and those are your pentatonic notes, and it doesn't matter what else you're doing in that, you know, the relative minor of that or that major pentatonic, or where you're at on the neck. Those are the pentatonic notes regardless, and those intervals will change. But at any rate, sometimes I get notifications because somebody commented on a post I commented on, and people are just still saying bogus stuff to him, like just throwing weird numbers out there. Like one guy was like, oh, 1, 3, 5, 13, 11. And I'm like, come on, man. Gosh, I really want to squash that gatekeeping garbage. Where you're just not nice to people. It just drives me crazy. It really does. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to. I kind of don't want to participate in that and be like, I guess maybe one positive thing and a sea of negative things. But I like this better, where I can just kind of explain it this way. I don't know if like giving lessons is the right thing. And I don't think like shooting a video answering the question and then posting that video is something I want to do either. So maybe I'll just answer those questions in video form on here, and maybe when they Google that, they'll find it. I don't know. At any rate, so I got to thinking this week as I was playing, like kind of like what I was playing in the beginning. Something like that. I got that from, I don't know where other people get it. I got that from about 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago. I decided I wanted to learn piano. So I bought a Williams, I think is the brand, digital piano. And I bought a book called Scales and Arpeggios on Piano, which showed you the right technique, which I still don't have. But just kind of mapped out some exercises for going through scales on the piano. And what I discovered was that it's very different than guitar. Very different. In that you don't move up and down like this scale degrees. They're all this way. So, and then like you don't have the movements aren't the same either. You don't have like, if you go 2 frets, it's a whole note, and one is a half. It's not that way on the piano, um, because you have one key to one key like that could be a whole, because you have a black key that covers this note. So the black keys kind of messed me up, and it took me a while, just because it was such a shift in my brain from how I would play it on guitar to how I played it on piano. But I loved the sound that piano players would get, and I got to a point where I was like, I was doing two things. One, I was thinking low high, right? So I was like, I was playing chords with my left hand, but like sometimes just bass notes, sometimes like a 5 chord, sometimes a full chord. And I was doing the same thing with my right hand, but I found myself like playing melodies with my right hand. So I was playing harmony and melody at the same time. And then when I would go back to the guitar, that started to translate into how I played guitar. So the high-low thing that I was doing on piano became me barring chords, even though 85% of the guitar players online will tell you that you shouldn't play bar chords and you should just play triads, which is technically true. But I would, the bass, I found myself kind of holding that bass down, going low and high with it, which is, they're just two different triads. That's really a power chord, and then that's a triad. It's another triad. That would be the same as like you bong, and then you ding ding ding, and you playing different triads inside of that chord structure. And then I found myself, the next thing I would do is that was kind of the intro to what some might call playing two parts at the same time, but really it's just holding down the chord and then playing the melody. So I would find myself doing stuff like that, where I would keep coming up and hitting the bass note. Sometimes I would hold it all the way through. I wish my fingers were long enough to do the thumb thing, but they're not quite. So that was two things that I really picked up from piano playing, was that this concept of doing two hands are doing two different things, and it's that way on the guitar, but I switched to one hand doing two different things at the same time. So instead of one hand holding down bass and the other hand doing that, then this hand would hold down bass. Anyway, you get the point. I would be doing two things at the same time. The other thing it really taught me, because it was laid out this way, with only a small jump up to the black keys. Hold on a second. I killed the video, but I wanted to finish what I was saying. Because it had this linear motion, I found myself playing that way, and I probably play that way now more than I should. And then okay, that's enough. I think you should learn another instrument, and it has to be different than guitar. It can't be like bass guitar, right, or 12 string. It has to be laid out differently, where you use the same concepts that you've learned on the guitar on another instrument. So you're using the musical knowledge that you have, and you're applying it in a new way. Um, and I think you're gonna find new ways to make music on your main instrument that you didn't think of before. And I would love to know what those are, because I'd love to pick up another instrument. I can't think of what it would be. I kind of want to pick up drums, but something other than that I haven't thought of might be kind of cool, and see how it translates to guitar. All right. So if you're going to do that, good luck. I think you should. See you later.